Wednesday afternoon. My office, hotel front desk on the line. Mrs. Calloway, I'm calling to confirm the reservation for your husband, David Calloway. Check-in Friday, 2 nights, King Suite. Shall I note any special requests for both guests? Both guests. David had told me Monday morning, standing in our kitchen, coffee in hand, kissed me goodbye, that the conference was solo. Colleagues flying separately, different hotels. I said, no special requests, thank you. I hung up. I looked at my screen. I am the general manager of a 4-star hotel, not the one my husband was checking into. But I know every GM in this city personally. I picked up the phone. Part 1, Who I Am. My name is Rachel Calloway, 39 years old. I have been in hospitality management for 15 years. Started at the front desk of a 90-room budget hotel in Ohio the summer after college. Took every shift nobody wanted. Learned the back-of-house operations within 3 months because I was curious and because I could see clearly that knowing only one part of the machine was a ceiling. Night auditor, assistant front office manager, revenue manager, operations manager. GM at 34, one of the youngest in the company's history, a fact that was noted in the internal announcement and that I mention not out of vanity, but because it is relevant context for understanding who I am and how I think. I run a 280-room hotel in downtown Washington. My staff is 64 people, all of whom I know by name and by function, most of whom I know well enough to understand what a bad week looks like on their face before they say anything. My reviews are consistently in the top 3 in the city. In 15 years of this work, I have managed natural disasters, structural failures, a kitchen fire, 2 medical emergencies, 1 guest fatality, and the specific ongoing operational complexity of running a full-service hotel in a city that never fully stops moving. I am trained, at a very fundamental level, to remain functional under pressure, to gather information before drawing conclusions, to build a complete operational picture before making decisions. This training would turn out to be relevant. David Calloway, 43. Corporate attorney, partner track at a mid-size firm downtown, the kind of attorney who was genuinely good at his work and knew it without being insufferable about it. We had met at a conference, a professional development event 10 years ago, where we had ended up at the same table at dinner and talked until the staff began stacking chairs around us. Married for 8 years. A marriage that had been, I would have said this honestly, to anyone who asked, up until Wednesday afternoon, good. Not a marriage of high romance, not a marriage of theatrical declarations or visible intensity, but a marriage of real compatibility and genuine mutual respect and the specific accumulated comfort of knowing someone over a long stretch of time. We were good together. That had been my honest assessment. Wednesday afternoon replaced that assessment with a question. Part 2. Patricia. Her name is Patricia Huang, general manager of the Meridian, one of the city's better boutique hotels. 160 rooms, recently renovated, strong corporate clientele, the kind of property that punches above its size and reputation, because Patricia runs it the way I run mine, with complete personal investment and an eye on every detail. We had known each other 7 years, met at a regional hospitality association event in Baltimore, become the kind of friends that professional circumstances create. Not daily contact, but real trust. The kind of person you can call directly with a direct question and know you will receive a direct answer. I called her immediately after hanging up with the front desk. She answered on the second ring. Rachel, she said, what do you need? This is how GMs talk to each other. There is no preamble because the work doesn't allow preamble. David Calloway, I said. He has a reservation with you this weekend. King Suite, 2 nights. A brief pause, the specific pause of a professional who has just understood the nature of a situation from 3 words. Yes, she said carefully. He told me he was attending a conference alone. I said, different hotel. Another pause, shorter. Rachel, I'm not asking you to breach anything, I said. I don't need a name. I need you to tell me, is this reservation what I think it is? Patricia was quiet for a moment. I could hear her move, the sound of a door closing, a chair, private space. "The reservation," she said, "was made 6 weeks ago, through a personal email address, not a corporate account. It was not part of any conference block. There is no conference at the Meridian this weekend." 6 weeks ago, not impulsive, not a last-minute decision. 6 weeks of planning, 6 weeks of logistics, 6 weeks of coming home every evening and sitting across from me at dinner and talking about his day while a hotel reservation sat in an inbox with 2 names attached to it. "Thank you," I said. "Rachel." Her voice was careful. "Are you okay?" "I'm working," I said. I had a staff meeting in 11 minutes. I stood up, straightened my jacket, walked to the conference room, and ran it. Part 3, The Architecture of 8 Months. I came back to my office after the meeting and I began to construct a timeline. This is what I do. When I am managing a problem, a guest complaint, an operational failure, a staffing crisis, I start with the known data points and work backward and forward from each one until the full picture is visible. Not a partial picture. The full picture. I started with what I knew. 6 weeks ago, a reservation made through a personal email. A hotel David had presumably been to before, or had researched, or had been to with me. I checked my own memory and found nothing. The Meridian was not a hotel we had used together. I moved backward. 6 weeks ago was a Tuesday in early March. I searched my memory for anything notable about that period. A Thursday that week. David had worked late. This was not unusual. He regularly worked late, billing hours, client demands, the standard texture of a litigation-adjacent career. But I found the specific Thursday because he had come home after I was already in bed, and I had heard the door and registered his arrival and gone back to sleep. I kept moving. 5 weeks ago, the Philadelphia weekend. David had a college friend named Marcus Chen. They had maintained the friendship through 20 years of geographic divergence, saw each other twice a year, with the reliable frequency of people who have made a deliberate decision to stay in contact. The Philadelphia trip had appeared in our shared calendar, with enough advance notice to feel normal. He had shown me a text from Marcus confirming plans. 2 days, back Sunday afternoon. I found the trip in the calendar. I looked at it for a moment. Then I called Marcus. He answered on the third ring with the warm, slightly surprised tone of someone receiving an unexpected call from a friend's spouse. "Rachel, hey, is everything okay?" "Marcus," I said. "Quick question. I'm trying to sort out some scheduling. Did you and David get together recently? First weekend of April?" A pause. "First weekend of April?" He sounded genuinely uncertain. "No. We haven't seen each other since New Year's, actually. We keep saying we're going to plan something, but it hasn't happened. Is he okay?" "He's fine," I said. "I must have gotten the dates mixed up. Sorry to bother you." "No worries. Tell him to call me. Seriously, we need to actually plan something." "I will," I said. I hung up. 2 days in Philadelphia. Not to Marcus. Somewhere else. With someone else. I opened my laptop and pulled 6 months of credit card statements. Part 4. The spreadsheet. I am a financial operator. Revenue management, cost control, payroll analysis, vendor contracts, these are not abstract functions of my job, but daily practical work, and I do them with a specific kind of patient precision that is different from urgency. Numbers don't lie if you know how to read them. Patterns don't hide if you look long enough. I built a spreadsheet. I went through 6 months of joint credit card statements line by line, flagging every charge I could not immediately identify from context. Client dinners I had always understood to be expense to the firm. Personal card charges for restaurants that were not client context were notable. I found 11 restaurant charges over 6 months, never expensive, $78 to $143. Always weekday evenings, always Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, always neighborhoods I had no particular reason to associate with David's routine. I looked up every restaurant. 7 of them were in a cluster, within roughly 6 blocks of each other, on the east side of downtown. A residential neighborhood, mixed use, the kind of area with good walkable dining and apartment buildings, that had been converted from office space in the early 2000s. Neither of us worked near there. Neither of us had friends in that neighborhood, to my knowledge. I noted the address cluster. I moved on. The Philadelphia weekend. I searched the statements for hotel charges that weekend. Nothing on the joint card, which meant he had used his personal card, a card I did not have access to, for wherever he had actually been. I thought about the bed and breakfast, 2 hours from Philadelphia, the direction of which I did not know. I noted the gap. I picked up the phone and called Patricia for the second time. Part 5. Tom Riley. Patricia sent me a name by text 20 minutes after our second conversation. Tom Riley, Riley Investigative Services. Tell him I referred you. I held the phone for a moment. In 15 years of hospitality management, I have called vendors, contractors, lawyers, insurance adjusters, public relations consultants, journalists, city inspectors, and once, during a particularly complicated situation involving a guest and a significant quantity of hotel property, a criminal defense attorney on behalf of one of my staff members. I had not before this called a private investigator. I called at 11 a.m. on Thursday. Tom Riley had the voice of a man in his early 50s who has spent 20 years listening to people tell him things they would rather not be saying aloud. Unhurried, precise, with the specific professional neutrality of someone whose job requires them to receive difficult information and transmit it accurately without editorializing. Patricia Huang referred you, he said after I had given my name. I can give you an hour this afternoon if you want to come in. I went in at 2. His office was exactly what you would expect from the exterior. Second floor of a nondescript commercial building. Good natural light, very little decoration. A man who put nothing on display that he didn't need there. I told him what I had. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he looked at his notes for a moment. The reservation, he said. Has he said anything since Wednesday to indicate he knows something has changed? No, I said. He came home Wednesday evening as normal. He hasn't mentioned the conference or the reservation. And you haven't indicated anything to him? No. Tom nodded. 6-week advance booking on a personal account, the restaurant cluster in the East Side, the Philadelphia trip that didn't go where he said it went. That's enough to work with. He looked up. What do you want? The complete picture? The complete picture, I said. Full documentation, timeline. I don't want a preliminary reading, and I don't want inference. I want verified facts. 1 week, he said. Maybe 10 days? That's fine, I said. I'm not going to do anything until I have it. He looked at me for a moment. You're handling this well, he said. I'm a hotel GM, I said. I handle things. Part 6. The weekend David was home. He left Friday morning as planned. I stood at the kitchen door and watched his car pull out of the driveway. The specific, ordinary image of a Friday morning departure that I had watched dozens of times without registering, now carrying the specific weight of knowing that the destination was not what he had said it was. I kissed him goodbye because not kissing him would have been a visible deviation from routine, and I was not ready to deviate from routine until I had the complete picture. The weekend, I worked Saturday. My hotel, my office, the reliable structure of operations. There was a minor situation mid-morning, a vendor delivery error that affected the breakfast service, that required 2 hours of direct management and which I found, honestly, a relief. Something I could fix with certainty. Saturday evening, I sat in my house alone. I am not a person who performs wellness. I did not tell myself that I was fine. I did not insist to myself that I was holding up. I did not perform composure for an absent audience. I sat in the kitchen, the same table where we ate dinner, where David had described his client call Wednesday evening with the easy detail of a man with nothing to hide. And I allowed myself to feel the full weight of what I was sitting with. Not the abstraction of betrayal. The specific weight of 10 years. The specific weight of a Tuesday morning kiss from someone who had a reservation at the Meridian with a name that was not mine on the second guest line. I sat with it until I had finished feeling it. Then I went to bed, and I slept. and on Sunday morning, I got back to work. Part 7. Her name was Stephanie. Tom called on the following Thursday at 2 p.m. "I have the complete picture," he said. Her name was Stephanie Marsh, 34 years old. Paralegal, Contracts Division, David's firm. She had been at the firm for 2 years, which placed her arrival approximately 18 months before any of this had started. Time enough for a professional relationship to develop a different quality. The East Side neighborhood. Her apartment was 3 blocks from the center of the restaurant cluster. 11 dinners over 6 months. Walking distance from her building, each of them. The pattern of someone building a secondary domestic geography, neighborhood restaurants, familiar staff, a circuit of places that had become routine. The Philadelphia weekend. Tom had found it. She had posted on her private social media, visible to mutual connections, accessible through a chain Tom described without elaborating. Photographs from a bed and breakfast in rural Virginia, 2 hours from the city. Check-in. The Friday David had supposedly driven to Philadelphia. Checkout. Sunday afternoon, matching his arrival home. I looked at the photograph Tom had included in his preliminary notes. A woman standing on a wooden porch, autumn trees behind her. Relaxed, smiling, not performing anything, just standing in a place she was happy to be. 34 years old. I moved on. "The hotel stays," I said. 3 previous stays at the Meridian, Tom said. "I've confirmed 2 dates, the third I'm still verifying. The pattern over the past 4 months is roughly once a month. And the reservation this weekend. Still active as of this morning," he said. "I'll flag any changes." "How long has this been going on?" I said. 8 months, Tom said. "The first documented external meeting is 8 months ago, a Tuesday evening, a restaurant 2 miles from the firm. The charge appears on your joint statement." He read the amount and the date. I found it in my spreadsheet, 2 entries from the bottom of the list. I had seen it in real time, had registered it as a client dinner, had moved on. 8 months ago. 5 months ago, David had mentioned her once, in passing. A new paralegal in the contracts group, exceptionally organized, had caught an error in a brief that would have been expensive. A sentence, mentioned with the casual professional approval of someone who sees a colleague perform well. I had said something like, "That's good to have," and we had moved on to something else. I had filed the mention as routine professional small talk. 5 months ago, I had been told her name, in my own kitchen, and had not known what I was being told. I kept my voice level. "Full documentation by end of week," I said. "Friday," Tom said. "Everything verified, formatted, indexed." "Thank you," I said. I called Susan Park immediately afterward. Part 8. Susan Park. Susan had been my attorney for 2 years in a limited capacity. A commercial contract question I had needed a second opinion on. A straightforward transaction that she had handled efficiently and with a directness I had found immediately trustworthy. Family law was not how I had used her before. She had a family law practice alongside her commercial work, which I had noted at the time as professional range without thinking much about it. I called her Thursday afternoon. "I need to understand my position," I said. "Not yet. Preparation. I want to know where I stand before I have any conversation or make any decision." "Smart," she said. "Tell me what you have." I gave her the same account I had given Tom, updated with Tom's preliminary findings. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a brief pause, not hesitation, assessment. "Joint assets," she said. "I need the complete financial picture. Both accounts, the house, retirement accounts, any investments, complete inventory." "I can have it to you by Monday," I said. "The investigation, Tom's report. I'll want a copy when it's complete." "Friday," I said. "I'll send it when I receive it." "Are you living together currently?" she said. "Yes." "Any indication he knows you know?" "Not from his behavior," I said. "He's been completely normal." "Okay." Another brief pause. "Rachel, at this stage, this is just information gathering. You're not filing anything, you're not making any decisions. You're just doing what a GM does, getting the complete picture before moving. Yes, I said. Good, she said. Monday for the financials. We'll talk after that. Part 9, The Cancellation. Tom's full report arrived Friday evening. 42 pages, indexed, with a timeline appendix and a separate section of documentation. I read all of it. The timeline confirmed 8 months. The documentation was thorough. Dates, locations, verified records, photographs where relevant. The kind of file that removes ambiguity. On page 38, Tom had included an addendum timestamped from earlier that afternoon. Meridian reservation for the weekend of April 18th to 20th, canceled Monday, April 7th. Cancellation by phone. Reason given, family emergency. No rebook on record. Monday, April 7th. I looked at my calendar. Wednesday, April 2nd was the day his secretary had called me. The Monday after was April 7th. He had waited 5 days and then canceled. 5 days of coming home each evening and sitting at the table and talking normally. 5 days of performing the same routine. And then, on a Monday, calling the Meridian from somewhere private and canceling. He had not come home Monday and said, "I canceled the conference trip, something came up." He had simply canceled it and continued as normal. And the following Friday had come home from work. No conference, no Meridian, no Stephanie, and had continued with the ordinary texture of the weekend without explanation. He was waiting. He knew something had shifted. He didn't know what I knew. He was waiting for me to show him, and I had not shown him. 3 weeks of this, and neither of us had said anything. I called Patricia. "The Callaway reservation?" I said. It was canceled. Monday, April 7th. She confirmed. "Family emergency," he said. "Thank you, Patricia." "Rachel," she said. "For what it's worth, you're handling this with more composure than most people I've seen in this situation." "I'll handle the rest of it the same way," I said. I opened my laptop and forwarded Tom's report to Susan Park. Then I sat at my desk for a long time. He had ended it, or said he had. He had canceled the reservation. He had been home every night, normal, present, performing nothing different. No confession, no confrontation, no crack in the ordinary surface of our household. 3 weeks. I thought about what it takes to sit across a table from someone every evening for 3 weeks, knowing what you know, waiting for the other person to speak first. He was waiting for me to break. I was not going to break before I was ready. I would be ready Sunday morning. Part 10. Sunday. I chose Sunday morning the way I choose the timing of any significant operational decision. Not based on emotion, but based on conditions. Sunday morning was quiet. No schedules, no external pressures, no professional obligations until the following day. Both of us at full capacity, no fatigue variables. And because Sunday morning was, for the entire length of our marriage, ours. Coffee, and no phones, and the paper, and the unhurried quality of time that belonged to us specifically. I wanted the conversation in that frame because I wanted him to understand, without saying it explicitly, what the context was. He was in the kitchen when I came downstairs. Coffee made, paper on the counter, the complete Sunday morning image of a man who had been suspended in uncertainty for 3 weeks and was performing normalcy with the effort of someone who is very tired. I sat across from him at the table. "David," I said, "I need to have a conversation." He turned from the counter. He looked at my face. 10 years. He knew what he was looking at. He put down his coffee. He sat. Neither of us spoke for a moment. "How long?" I said. He looked at the table. 8 months, he said. "Is it over?" A pause, shorter than I expected. "Yes," he said. "I ended it 3 weeks ago." "Before or after your secretary called to confirm the reservation?" I said. He looked up. "You knew." He said it quietly, not a question. "When she called?" "I knew within 4 minutes," I said. "I called Patricia Huang. She told me what the reservation was. 2 calls, 40 minutes. I had the architecture. He closed his eyes. Not a dramatic gesture, just the brief closure of someone absorbing information. You've known for 3 weeks, he said. I've had the complete picture for 10 days, I said. Tom Riley's report, 42 pages. The 11 dinners. Philadelphia, which was not Philadelphia. 3 previous stays at the Meridian. 8 months, first documented meeting was a Tuesday in August. He said nothing. There was nothing to say. I have an attorney, I said. Susan Park, family law. She has the full financial inventory and Tom's documentation. Nothing is filed. I'm telling you this so you understand the position, not as a threat, as information. He looked at his hands. Why didn't you say anything? He said. For 3 weeks. Because I needed to be ready, I said. And because I needed you to sit with it. I knew you'd canceled the reservation. I knew you'd ended it. I wanted you to sit in this house for 3 weeks, knowing that something had changed, and not knowing what I knew. He looked at me. I wanted you to feel, I said, a fraction of what 3 weeks felt like from my side. Silence. That was the only thing I let myself do, I said. One deliberate thing. The rest has been just holding it. He looked at his hands again. Tell me why, I said. Not a version, all of it. You owe me all of it. And then he talked. It took 2 hours. He talked about the last 3 years, the specific, accumulated quality of distance that had grown between us, a distance neither of us had named or addressed, the way 2 people in demanding careers can be present in the same house without being present to each other. He talked about the specific moment, a work dinner that had run late, a conversation that had gone in a direction that should have been a line, the specific cowardice of someone who found an available path and took it rather than having the harder conversation he should have had with me instead. I asked questions. He answered them without deflection. He told me her name. I knew it already, but I let him tell me because that was his to do. He told me the Philadelphia trip. He told me what the 3 weeks after ending it had felt like, sitting in our house knowing what he'd done. At the end, I said, "Why did you end it?" He was quiet for a long moment. I was in the hotel room the first Saturday, he said. The first Meridian stay, and I sat there and I thought about you. He looked at his hands. Not in a sentimental way. I thought about you in this house, doing what you do, managing the way you manage everything, and I thought about what I was choosing. Not who I was with, what I was choosing. He paused. I couldn't make myself be the person who keeps choosing it. I looked at my husband. That doesn't undo 8 months, I said. I know. Or Philadelphia, or the 11 dinners, or 3 years of distance that you chose to address this way instead of by talking to me. I know, he said. I know that. I looked at him for a long moment. I need time, I said finally. Real time, not a week, months, possibly. I need you to give me that without pressure and without the expectation that time alone is going to resolve this. Okay. I need you in therapy, I said. Your own, not couples. Not yet. Because you have spent 8 months making a specific category of choice, and I need you to understand, with professional help, what drove it. Before I can make any decisions about what comes next, I need to believe you understand it. Yes, he said. I'll call Monday. And I need complete financial transparency, I said. Both accounts, all of it. Susan's document request is going to your email tomorrow. It's not a filing, it's due diligence. I'm a GM. I don't operate without the complete financial picture. He looked at me. You prepared everything, he said. Attorney, investigator, financials. I found out on a Wednesday afternoon, I said. I had 11 minutes before a staff meeting. So yes, I prepared. He was quiet. What happens now? He said. We live in this house, I said. You go to therapy, we go to couples therapy eventually, when I decide I'm ready for that. Susan holds everything, and I take the time I need to make the decision I need to make, without pressure, without performance, without anyone deciding for me. And if the decision is, I don't know yet, I said. That's what time is for. Part 11, 7 months later. 7 months, we are still in the house. This is not a resolution, it is a state, and states are not permanent. David has been in individual therapy for 7 months, twice a week for the first 3, once a week now. We began couples sessions at month 3, which was earlier than I had planned, but which I chose because the individual work was moving, and because I am not, at my core, someone who withholds resources from a process that is working. The couple's work has been, I would describe it as accurate, not comfortable, not a warm restoration of something lost. Accurate, which means looking at the distance that preceded what happened, the 3 years of 2 people in demanding careers living adjacent to each other rather than with each other, and asking hard questions about what each of us contributed to that distance. These questions do not exonerate what David did. They are not meant to. They are meant to produce understanding that is complete rather than convenient. Some weeks are forward, some weeks are not. Susan Park has the complete financial inventory. It has not been used. It sits in a drawer in her office as a resource that exists, available if I need it. The presence of that document is not a statement about the marriage. It is a statement about who I am. I don't operate without the complete picture available. I never have. Tom Riley sent his invoice with a handwritten note. You handled this with more composure than anyone I have worked with. I hope the outcome is the one you want. I sent a note back thanking him and asking how he defined the outcome you want in this context, because I find the phrase more ambiguous than people typically intend it. He did not respond, which I thought was probably the right call. Patricia sent a bottle of wine the week after the reservation was canceled. Good wine, no note, just a name on the gift card that said everything necessary. I do not know what the decision will be. I am not performing uncertainty. I genuinely do not know. There are days when I look across the table at the man I have known for 10 years and I see the person I married clearly, and other days when what I see is the 8 months, the 11 dinners, the Tuesday in August when he chose to turn a professional relationship into something else rather than come home and tell me that something in our marriage needed attention. Both of those things are true simultaneously. That is not a paradox. That is marriage after damage. The work is holding both things without collapsing into either one. I will make the decision when I am ready. I will make it from the complete picture, with the full financial position understood, with the therapeutic work at whatever stage it is when I reach readiness. I am a general manager. I have been managing difficult situations for 15 years. I will manage this one the same way, with the complete picture, with enough time to see it clearly, on my terms.